गेस्ट हैं वो भी तशरीफ ला चुके हैं। तो अब इस सेशन का जो लास्ट सेशन होगा उसका बाकायदा आगाज़ करने के लिए मैं गुजारिश करूंगा डॉक्टर आबिद कयूम सुलेरी साहब से, जो कि एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट पॉलिसी इंस्टीट्यूट के, रिनॉन्ड राइटर एंड स्कॉलर प्रैक्टिशनर जनाब डॉक्टर आबिद कयूम सुलेरी साहब, ओवर टू यू।
Thank you, Mozam. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And today is the last day, and this session is the concluding session of D4D discussion that we have been engaged in with since yesterday. I found these discussions very productive, especially the three tangible products that STPI, UNFPA, and Embassy of Netherlands, we jointly launched, and I'm talking of Youth Development Index, I'm talking of the SIN data portal, and of course the BPERI reorganization. And these are extremely crucial and important activities and initiatives that would definitely improve both the data quality as well as access to data and data transparency in Pakistan. Now, this session was originally planned to have Planning Minister Ahsan Iqbal Saab and the Climate Change Minister of State Dr. Shazra Mansab with us. We are told that there's a meeting going on in PMO, Prime Minister's office, and both of the cabinet members, they are still engaged there. One hopes that they may be able to join us before we plan to conclude, that is 3:30. If they will be able to join, they will definitely, will take them either online or in person as they come. If not, we'll continue with our discussion. And right now, we have two very important speakers with us who will be taking this discussion further. But I must thank formally the different departments and the ministries of Government of Pakistan and all the federating units, including all four provincial statistical bureaus and Government of AJK and Government of Gilgit and Baltistan for joining here. Your presence here is a testimony that this initiative is a demand-driven initiative. So in development world, we can either have a supply side initiative in which we just try to roll out whatever we have in the pipeline. And the second is a demand-driven initiative. And the three products that I mentioned in Sindh's case, the Sindh data portal; in Balochistan's case, the restructuring of BPARI, and in case of federal government, the youth development indices. I think this is a proof that all of three, those were demanded by your side, the policymakers, and we tried to actually support it through our intellectual and knowledge and technological collaborations. Now, before we go further, I would also like to thank Mr. Rana Mashood, who is the Prime Minister's coordinator on Youth Development Initiative. I think his ministry's role is quite active, and especially for this youth development index, youth data index. Rana Mashood Saab, he played an important role, and we thank him in his absence. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Naeem Zafar, the Chief Statistician of Pakistan, who has been very actively remained present during last 2 days, and that shows his dedication, devotion, and of course the patronization of this subject. And with this, I'll request Dr. Naeem Zafar Saab to come and share some reflection on the proceedings so far. Also, how the development partners, UNFPA, Netherlands Embassy, STPI, and others, they can support better Pakistan Bureau of Statistics in its next initiatives. And of course, some of the plans that you have for 2026, where you would like us to support you, and where PBS is trying to again raise some very powerful ripples as it has already raised in 2025. So over to you, Dr. Naeem Zafar Saab.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I hope that you had good lunch and your focus of the span of focus and concentration is still alive. I'm feeling a bit drowsy because I also had lunch. So if you go through the booklet shared by all our colleagues, Netherlands Embassy, UNFPA, SDPI, under the, I would say, mission of data for development. On page 5, it says that the initiatives, objectives, trainings, workshops, research papers you have been listening to from different universities, different line departments, provincial bureaus, Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, they all are putting in their endeavor and sincere effort in moving towards an integrated data ecosystem where, I'm reading from this, where every actor, public, private, or civic, contributes to and benefits from trusted information. I think that not all of you had a chance to go through the fundamental principle of statistics. The statistician, especially those who are working with national statistics, know what is fundamental principle of statistics. And let me share with you that this ambition, these 3 lines, very nicely condenses all those fundamental principles into something which is very motivating, very guiding, and very beneficial. It's something which any nation who is serious in allowing data to guide development should pursue to this. I congratulate UNFPA, especially under the dynamic leadership of Brother Loy, the way, mashallah, he is trying to create events, symposiums, workshops, capacity strengthening at various levels, shows his sincerity. And that does not come to me as a surprise, because I know that he comes from statistics background. He has served in various statistical capacities in state of Palestine, at the regional level, Arab nation, GCC. So I know that he knows how crucial this is, how enabling it is, and how a country loses the benefits which can accrue to nation and individuals if data is not allowed to guide the policies. Over the last 2 days, we listened to, and we got motivation from several discrete initiatives, nicely talked and presented by different stakeholders from provinces and other entities. And that actually tells you that this urge of creating platforms where data can be populated from diverse sources, like the surveys and census data, like the administrative data, like the big data, that is taking roots at the provincial level. So we usually complain about not so good things happening in our society, but we should also take stock of some nice things which have started taking roots, of course, through the joint efforts of all other stakeholders we have been doing. One nice example is SIN Development Data Platform, which Dr. Abid talked about. It's really a nice way to create a platform where the data from diverse and disparate sources can be populated, and we get an opportunity to learn that what happened with our policies and programs in several areas, how can we improve them, does our policies were talking to the projects and programs we finance through public or private resources, what were the outcomes? Were we conscious enough to put the result framework on those programs, or we were not so forthcoming, or we lost sight of some of the aspects? So this actually allows, but in absence of such platforms, such unification effort, probably you won't be able to put these disparate pieces, and you will lose all those learning and improving opportunities which you can have if you create those platforms. B-Perry is again a very nice initiative, which is should be very close to a heart of every Pakistani, and especially to every people from Balochistan. B-Perry is Policy Economic Research Institute. Again, a big element in B-Perry is strengthening, institutionalizing the data collection and guiding the data to the social and economic policies undertaken in Balochistan. Youth development. We all know that under 30 population is almost 2/3 in Pakistan. And this was discussed extensively yesterday and also today in some sessions, that this is the group of people who have 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7 decades in front of them. So the policies, programs, development, growth opportunities, skill gaps, exports, entrepreneurship, this all actually concerns this cohort of population. If they do not have development, if they do not have the human capital, if they are not socially developed, if they do not know what are their traits, then probably we are not serving the cause. So youth development initiative, and in that context, all initiatives taken by the ministry along with UNFPA and along with SDPI are highly laudable. I will very briefly talk about the role of Pakistan Bureau of Statistics in this pursuit. First of all, Bureau of Statistics is one of the beneficiary of these endeavors, and of course, a very steadfast partner of all these endeavors, with all the people who are putting in sincere efforts in this cause. PBS envisions a data ecosystem in which we have platforms in which the administrative people, line departments, in which private sector have trust, faith in the statistics, not only when they are using it, but also when they are submitting their data, sharing their information. They trust that system. PBS envisions these three major stakes. PBS envisions that eventually data should be democratized, eventually, but that's a long journey. As the starting point of this endeavor, the minimum PBS believes in is the integration or the gradual reliance of Pakistan data ecosystem from census and surveys to the administrative data. That is so very crucial. And let me explain to you why. And I think that all of these endeavors under this D4D platform, which is now become a brand, and I pray that it grow further, because PBS tries to take back a snapshot of situation of social and economic outcomes through censuses and through surveys. Provincial line departments, social and economic services departments, and federal regulators make a claim that we have been providing these social and economic services. They hold administrative data. Maybe their claims are right, maybe their claims are wrong. But if their claims are right, and we were talking to each other, the guys who are responsible for surveys and census, which is PBS and provincial bureaus, and the guys who are responsible for ensuring the social and economic services. If these were talking to each other, then probably they would have informed us that we are doing these social and economic services in this many districts out of total 157 districts in Pakistan. Therefore, we request you to ensure the selection of people from these areas while not violating the fundamental principle of statistics, so that we are able to show the outcome of our endeavors. But since there is not an active dialogue between these providers and those who are day in and day out collecting data from the field, we are able to collect is only the outcome which may or may not be talking to the investment by public sector. So that is the first, I would say, missing link, which we consciously think about bridging or putting it back in place so that flow of information between these two major sources of information may start taking its roots. Third step, rather second step, is the trust of private sector. Probably you know that Pakistan Bureau of Statistics did Data Fest in 2024 and 2025. And personally, PBS also desires it. And personally, I was so keen to have private sector in Data Fest, but it's unfortunate that the way we expected private sector to join was not realized. There can be several issues. There can be several data producers in private sector, for example, telcos, for example, point of sale, for example, social media platforms. They may be interested in monetizing the data, but that's fine. They can do it. We could have talked with them some engagement, some sharing of statistics, which can be mutually beneficial. So instead of doing the retail audits, I'm talking about FMCGs, I'm talking about big supply chain commodity players, instead of doing retail chains for assessing the demand at the granular level and planning their sales, marketing and procurement and warehousing and sourcing and financing and whatever activities, they could have found a better and convenient way to know the demand of essential at least and begin their planning activities that could have led to some economization in their plans, some efficiency, and that could have translated to some betterment, some affordability in lives of the people. But all of those things could not happen because there is a gap of trust between private sector and the public sector. So Data Fest was one sincere effort to reduce this mistrust so that this information sharing may start towards the betterment of those who are with the vested interest and to the betterment of public also. But this will not disappoint us. We'll continue doing it, and because disappointment at this stage of life should not be in the choices of dictionary. We should always be positive because we are talking to an age cohort which is 2/3 of Pakistan, which is less than 30. And it is you who will drive Pakistan in coming decades. It is your understanding of the social and economic planning and the data needs in order to make those plans and policies successful, in order to learn from the past challenges and failures. So it is you who will be at the driving seat maybe 5, 6, 10 years down the road. And it is you who will be making the key decisions for bringing improvement in lives of people. Another thing which I would like to, I would definitely mention the efforts put in by SDPI especially, and they are highly laudable, and they are doing it again with the help of UNFPA, which is again doing a great job, is helping the provincial stakeholders in creating visualizations. So we all know that, I mean, Dr. Alia, you will second me. The most pathetic form of understanding is reading. I mean, if I give you National Accounts table written in font size 6, having 30 or 20 columns condensed in one A4 page, first column is years, second column is GDP nominal, third column is real, fourth column is agriculture, and then industry, and then service, and then these are the super columns. In each of the sub columns of agriculture, you are having major crops, minor crops, forest, fisheries, story goes to services, story goes to industry. Even what the hell? Can I decipher? Can I see what happened with the services in 1950 in Chichavatni and what's happening now? No, I cannot. Because it will take you so much of energy and effort and span to pick the numbers, contrast them, internalize them, put some trend and try to relate it with the external situation, and then be able to say something that what caused the change. And just think if the same situation is showed you in graph, in a map, in a heat map, in a dynamic map. Hey, this is Multan, Burewala, known for cotton. What the hell? They are doing sugarcane. this area is not known for abundance of water. This is an arid area. Something must have happened in this area so that I'm seeing these crop changes. Instead of showing that information in dreadful numbers written in font size 6, why we are not showing it in dynamic maps? That this crop pattern switching in this decade from this to this state. And same thing we can do for social changes. Same can be done for other, so many social phenomena like stunting, like poverty, like malnutrition. So many things we can conceive of. And what we are doing then, we are trying to relate numbers with lives of people. And if we continue throwing numbers, spreadsheets back to people, people will not be able to learn. Policymaker will not be able to understand. But if we present this information in a nice map, which is zoomable, on which a person can flexibly, without being an expert of IT, put some layers, pick administrative area, pick the air, pick the granular area, pick the survey instrument and see that, okay, this is what causing the change. Hell, my policy interventions were altogether different. They were on a different tangent, what I was doing. But this understanding, this realization will not be possible if we do not think about these three actors: NSOs, NSS, administrative data, and the big data. And if we do not push this, that if we do not find a unifying platform which is nice enough to accommodate information from these disparate sources and is capable of showing the whole picture in a nice and convenient and friendly, user-friendly way, in such a way that it enables the stakeholders to relate themselves with the data and take the right action, then we can expect that data will guide the policies, data will enable the decisions. But if we do not consciously do it, then probably all nice things will not happen. So to sum up, I congratulate UNFPA, Embassy of Netherlands, SDPI, all provincial stakeholders, professors from universities, civil society, all friends who have traveled from all parts of Pakistan on conduct of this. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Naim Zafar. And I think, again, one particular policy ask is very clear from your words of wisdom, and that's about data visualization. I hope Team STPI is taking a note of it, and in 2026, we should engage with the PBS to strengthen the capacities and capabilities of data visualization. I think we have now achieved a reasonable, decent level of data collection. Now is about data and visualization and data understanding, as you rightly mentioned, that even if the numbers are there and spreadsheets are there and Excel sheets are there, what to do with them, and that would only be possible if we know the art of data visualization and telling the story. This data is basically connecting the dots and telling the story. And thank you, Dr. for highlighting the importance of it. And we will be mindful of taking care of it in 2026. We will also be requiring Pakistan's Bureau of Statistics cooperation in deepening this D4D at provincial level, taking it to all 4 provinces. And I hope we will have your usual support and patronization for this very purpose. And with this, let me invite for keynote address our own Dr. Loy Shabane. Dr. Loy Shabane has, as the past tells us, has a very practical approach. He very candidly acknowledges what is achievable, what has been achieved. But I have realized, listening to him over and over again, that he minces no words in highlighting what needs to be done correctly and how. And I think this is the part which is most important, what needs to be done correctly and how So Dr. Loai Shabane, may we request you to.
Assalamu alaikum. Let me try to complement what my brother Dr. Naeem has started rightly. Yesterday, after the discussion here, I went to the Parliament. There was the Committee for Gender Mainstreaming hosting hearing about gender issues. And what has struck me in the discussion is the mix. You can see an oversighting organization doing implementation, and legislative are speaking advocacy, and journalist is speaking in legislation. So this is one of the challenges that I think the country has to sort it out. So the first one is the mix. It is very important that this mix is sorted out in the ecosystem for data. And the second is the disconnect. Somehow, sometimes we feel that we are disconnected from the actual issues. The supply is going in the orthodox way of what should be done by a statistical office or by a central bank or by an institution responsible for vital registration, without having enough engagement with people who need the information. And the third keynote or keyword, if you want, is governance. Governance is a real challenge in Pakistan, in every sector. Therefore, these two D4D Symposium, in my opinion, with thanks to all of you, donors, partners, and of course participants, momentum has been created. Yesterday, when I left here, a journalist asked me, where do you feel you are in this process? I said, we are at the end of runway. We didn't fly yet, but we have created the momentum and we are running in the high speed at the runway. What we have down the road that is needed to be done, in my opinion? The aim, as rightly said by Dr. Naeem, we need to have a modern, trusted, policy-oriented statistical system that speaks to the need, not to supply of statistics. In order to do that, I think we have to work in 5 pillars. The first one is institutional. The institutional structure for the statistical system in Pakistan needs to be reorganized. If you ask me, do you have a central statistical system? I would say no. Do you have decentralized? I would say no. Do you have semi? I would say no. If I need a piece of statistics, either I go to PBS, I go to the bank, or I go to international organization, I go to NADRA. There is no one place where I can find all statistics about the country. And every user has to go through and make sure if these statistics speaks to each other in terms of methodology, in terms of the timeliness, and so on and so forth. So there is need to work on the institutional setup. The second, legal. There is a need still to be done on the legal, despite the fact that you have a very well articulated modern statistical act, but there are still some other legal issues needs to be addressed. And of course, the enforcement of the legal act is very important. And the third is technical in terms of capacity, not only of the producers, but also the users as well. The fourth, which is most important, is cultural. Data is treated as the sons of the producers. This is mine. Data is public good. This is my statistics. There is a lot of territorial in the production in the system, and the culture needs to be totally changed if we want to reach a point where we have trusted. Dr. Naim spoke about trust. Trust is not requested. It's earned. And we, all of us, have to work to earn this trust. And one of the entry points for trust is openness. The country is not open about data. Sometimes we treat data as I said, like our sons and daughters that we cannot share with anybody else, like husband that they cannot share, a wife they cannot share. And sometimes we feel that it is security. If I share, I will lose power. No, guys, this is mine. I will not tell anybody. And the fifth part is political. There needs to be a political will to change. If we don't work on these 5 pillars, I think we still need to a longer way to reach where we want to go. Now, since this session, like His Excellency Muqaddar told me, from vision to action, and we already are on the same script when it comes to the vision, where we are going to go. There is no disagreement among us. So let me suggest 10 actions that, in my opinion, needs to be looked at. The first one, we need to strengthen the institutional setup and empower the independence of statistical system. Independence in terms of the ultimate authority on the dissemination. There should be no approval from whatsoever except the head of statistical office. This data is collected correctly, then it has to be launched immediately. This needs to look at issues to grant legal, operational independence, and also at a certain point in time, even the selection of the chief statistician needs to be based on very well-known criteria for everyone. In many countries who have statistical independence, the selection of the chief statistician is not part of the political negotiations or disagreements. It's similar to the governance or the governor of the central bank, those who are belonging to the state, not to the government, because they are supporting the government, the opposition, the parliament. The function of the head of a statistical office is to encourage accountability through the parliament hearings, and the monitoring of public policies, but also to show the public good for everybody to be the basis of discussion on debate on the public issues. Also, we need to have a very clear definition of the roles between the federal and provincial statistical offices. How they work together, I think this is an area needs to be looked at and to be agreed upon. The role of NADRA in this, and the access of PBS for the statistics there. It's very important. It's part of the system. I know these issues are not easy to work on, but at least we have to say what should be done. Second, to finalize and enforce the data governance framework, where every pillar, as rightly said by Dr. Naeem, pillar of the statistical system know their role, what is expected from them, and what they can expect from other pillars in the statistical system, in the production, clearance, quality, dissemination, utilization, and so on and so forth. With the completion of the national development of statistical system, the strategies, dissemination strategies to be enforced so that we can create a sort of transparent process for the production and dissemination of statistics. We have to empower data protection in order to be able to disseminate more and more disaggregated data. It is not enough to produce statistics after 2 months or 3 months or 5 months of doing the survey or the census. And this will create a safe data sharing. When data protection is there, there is safe data sharing with legal basis that are agreed upon. Third, as also mentioned by Dr. Naeem, integrate administrative data, including the non-traditional data, non-structural data, with the survey and census data. This is very important. And I hope D4D will play an important role in this. 4, modernize data collection and use of technology. We have to make sure that we are speaking to a statistical system that speaks to the future, where AI is a major player. Therefore, we need to modernize the way how we collect the data. There is no option to do the survey in 1 year. We have to use technology to reduce the timeliness. And also, using the administrative data more and more, we can provide more and more real-time data for policymaking. Improve data quality, transparency, and documentation. This is very important. And release of the microdata, I will keep saying this. This is one of the most important pillars of creating the trust. Of course, we have to protect the individual data. We have to abide by the law, but also we have to give the utmost opportunity for people to do research, do analysis, and to do modeling. 6, build human capital and professional culture among producers and users of the statistical system. Data science is important. Training economists, training statisticians, social scientists, people in the universities to use more and more data is really important. To train people about the ethics of using statistics also will help to calm down the producers of statistics that this data is not going to be misused. 7, embed data into policy making processes. And this is the heart of the D4D. And for this, we need to have data-based policy notes to be shared, produced. Institutional impact evaluations we need to be done. Policy analysis units has to be strengthened, similar to the research center that has been created in the universities, but we need to empower them to be producing high quality policy notes for the government use, and to make the public debate not on the ideology, but on the data. Now we speak about our opinions. We debate based on our opinions. Let data speak, because when we have data, we will not speak about ideology. And when we don't speak about ideology, the dialogue becomes constructive. But the ideology you cannot change. Everyone has his own ideology about any social or economic issue. And to link the budget allocations with measurable indicators where accountability could be empowered. And the eighth action I feel is enable research access, university collaboration, and involvement of the university with the work of the production of statistics. And exchange of manpower is very important. Exchange of data. If you are unable to share the microdata now, establish data labs where people can come and use microdata without copying it, so that they can be able to make these research. And this will the outcome of this will be a strong evidence base for local research and also for modeling in different spheres of multidisciplinary issues. And the ninth one is the federal and provincial coordination mechanism. This is very important because it's heavy, and I am sorry to say, not very much productive. We need to have it agile and productive so that the system can run and go faster, to harmonize all definition standards, to ensure that there is joint federal, provincial statistical planning. There is calendar for that. We are not disclosing a secret. Punjab now is doing a survey, which is apparently a census. We have just done the census. If these data is coming with two different estimates, we will start a very long debate about the statistics, the production, which is more precise, and which was driven by policy or politics, and which was done according to the proper methodology, and we will forget the use of statistics in the policy making. Therefore, the harmonization of the planning of statistics, provincial and federal, is really important. And the final one is to build public trust and data literacy. Data literacy is very important. We need to have too many workshops to train new generations how to use data, what is the potential of using data, how the ethics to use the data. And I think down the road, this is very ambitious and long-term agenda, but this is the way if we want to reach to a system that has been described rightly by Dr. Naeem, that is trusted, demand-driven, modern, and collaborative. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lohesh Shaban, especially for giving us 10 very practical action points to take, and based on the 5 pillars that you already mentioned: institutional, legal, cultural, political, and consumption. And I think that would again help Team SGPI while they are working on their next year's work plan. Many of these, they are directly relevant to it. And I completely agree with you, what you mentioned about the sanctity of use of evidence in policy making. And that reminded me of John Locke's very famous statement in 1600s. He said that no man's knowledge here can go beyond his experience. And I think that's what the data is. So whatever we can collect, whatever we can visualize, whatever we can analyze, that sets the boundaries and the limits of our knowledge. And that sets the boundaries and limits of our decision making. And that's why it's important to share data. I'm also mindful of the fact that with this interdepartmental and interministerial collaboration using different data sets, actually we can create wonder. Nowadays, I'm also looking after NDRMF, National Disaster Risk Management Fund. So I happen to be the chair of its board. The NatCat, that National Catastrophe data portal that NDRMF has made. So I was just wondering that if we can have the BISP's NSCR data layers on NatCat model, it would actually zoom into vulnerabilities. So right now, the NatCat model will tell you about the vulnerable hotspots, areas which are more prone to climate shocks. And I was asking the management of NDRMF that if we can talk to NSCR and get NSCR data, have the NSCR, which is of course a census due to legal reasons, it's called survey, National Socioeconomic Survey. Almost 90% of population is already covered there. So if we can extrapolate the layers of NSCR data and NatCat model, we can zoom in, we can tell precisely when it rains, when it's heat wave, when it's drought, not only which area, but which cluster of population would get affected. And that's where if the data custodians, they can start talking to each other, they can create wonders, and they can actually do this proactive decision making. Ladies and gentlemen, while after inviting Dr. Naim Zafar, you must have realized I took a phone call and came back. That phone call was from planning minister who has started a meeting. He had offered that if we can afford to sit longer, he can join us, but I'm mindful of the uncertainties which are there. So I very politely accepted his offer, and I thanked him, and I said that yes, maybe after New Year we can have another meeting where we'll be able to listen to him dedicatedly, rather than just prolonging today's discussion, waiting for minister. But the task that he has assigned me now is to get all these recommendations and meet him over this long weekend and brief him about what we discussed and how Ministry of Planning Commission can take it further, which of course I'll be happy to do. And now I'll finally request our co-host, Deputy Country Representative of UNFPA, Ms. Gulnara Kadraov. Am I pronouncing it right? Kadraov, is it? Kadraov, yeah. So for vote of thanks, please.
My task is quite easy because it's a vote of thanks to our partners, to Honorable Rana Mashoud Ahmad Khan, Chairman, Prime Minister Youth Program, Dr. Jamshad Akhtar, former Minister of Finance, Dr. Naim Zafar, Chief Statistician, Pakistan, Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Abid Qayyum Suleri, Executive Director, SDPI, Dr. Sajid Admin Javed, Deputy Executive Director, SDPI, and also thanks to our partners, Government of Netherlands, Minister of Planning Development Special Initiatives, Provincial Planning Development Partners, Population Welfare Departments, Commissioner for Afghan Refugees, Population Research Centers, Youth Departments, Provincial Disaster Management Authorities, Sustainable Development Policy Institute, and UN Family. For me, it's really an honor to be here today and provide the vote of thanks to conclude the second day of D4D Symposium. What I'm hearing from my colleagues is all the sessions been quite inspirational, because when you have this collective wisdom of data producers, data users, and you discuss the way forward, and you share collective kind of challenges on the way forward, which was already discussed by PSB in very kind of in a short narrative presented by Luai, it really presents a good avenue how we can move forward to improve the data production and data utilization. And first and foremost, let me extend our profound gratitude to Honorable Minister Ahsan Iqbal for gracing the closing He's not here, but we will extend our for his support, and his leadership continues to inspire Pakistan's journey towards a governance model rooted in evidence, transparency, and long-term national transformation. Let me extend this also big thanks to our federal and provincial partners. Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, Provincial Bureau of Statistics from Punjab, Sindh, KP, and Balochistan, Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, Provincial Planning Development Partners, and all PRCs for their active participation across the sessions. To our colleagues from academia, research institutions, civil society, thank you very much for your knowledge, critique, and new ideas to enrich this journey. I also want to appreciate the presence of our UN family, colleagues from UN Women, UNDP, IOM, ILO, whose collaboration also strengthens every conversation on data and development that is taking place within UN country team discussion. A very special acknowledgement goes to our long-standing partner SDPI, Dr. Abid Qayyum Suleri for his leadership, Dr. Sajid Admin, Ms. Aksa Navid, and the entire SDPI team. Thank you for your outstanding support in organizing this symposium and your intellectual leadership through the journey of this D4D. I would like also to express deep gratitude to Dr. Luai, our representative. Under his vision and leadership, the D4D initiative has grown into the transformative national platform that strengthens system, elevates institutions, and places evidence at the heart of the development. I used to work with Dr. Lai many years ago when he was providing this technical leadership for Arab states. I think it's a huge benefit for Pakistan to have this technical wisdom here present, which is really quite harnessing the journey going forward. Finally, I want to thank to my UNFPA, our UNFPA population development team, Muqaddar Shah, for his leading for D4D initiatives. Thank you very much. Farah Ashraf and the Mehwish entire PND team for their dedication, long hours, and unwavering commitment behind the scenes. To all ministers, secretariats, director generals, senior officials, speakers, partners, moderators, participants, thank you very much for your presence and your contribution and your insights. This symposium has reminded us that data is not just a technical, it's transformational. Together, we have strengthened the path toward a more inclusive, transparent, and evidence-driven Pakistan. Thank you very much, and we are looking forward to go together for this journey. And now, let me give a floor to Muqaddar for the announcement.
Thank you, Gulnara, and thank you everyone who is part of this wonderful symposium. This was a reminder that behind every data set, there's a human story. If you all honor those stories, we will build Pakistan that there is no one left behind, will be ensured. So to build more curiosity, this symposium has already been officially closed. But since we are celebrating our 2-year success of data for development, so we took an opportunity because this morning at 7 past at 11, I realized that someone very special among us has a birthday today. And that special person is the actual person who is behind all these things, the visions, the 10 points, Dr. Luai Shabani. And I apologize in advance because I know Dr. Luai Shabani don't like this kind of things, but we have to do it because we missed in the office. And my PD team, thank you very much, Farah, and thank you very much, Mehwish, for all of you. And thank you for helping me in celebrating this. So I request you all to come forward and have a cake cutting of Dr. Luai. Thank you very much. Where's the cake? If you can bring the cake in the front. It's on the way. So meanwhile, the cake is here. Thank you very much. Sajid Amin, thank you very much for all the support that you have extended. Of course, Dr. Solari, your leadership. Without your support, this symposium was not possible, to come with. We have 6 sessions altogether, and all these 6 technical sessions brought some recommendations. And hopefully these recommendations we will put in a writing, in a book, in a report that we will utilize. Of course, the 10 points that Dr. Loai, that's actually the summary of all these 6 sessions that we went through all this 2 days of the symposiums. And these 10 points, inshallah, it will make the difference of Pakistan's statistical system. And that's a very, very good technical points. Dr. Naeem sir, thank you very much for coming for all the 2 days. Where's the cake? Sir, we already traveled for 2 days and 2 years of the data for development. So we left the imaginations behind. We are now at the at the end of the runway. Yes. Please. Also, I'll give you opportunity to more people if someone can show the reflection of the 2 days data for development until we manage the cake here.
I think an important issue that we did not discuss was the capacity in the government, that is in the line ministries and at the federal level and at the provincial level of statistical analysis. Because you should an audit should be done, a human resource audit of all a human resource audit needs to be done to find out, because I, as a professor, worked on deputation at the erstwhile Ministry of Manpower, Labor and Overseas Pakistanis, and there were 2 research officers posted over there from what is called the Research and Planning group. But their skills for data analysis were very weak. Okay, I won't stand between the cake and you. Just no, I'm just finishing. So it is important because we kept talking about the use of data for policy making. We have to understand how policy is formulated at the governmental level. It starts from just a file with the section officer, and then it travels up to the secretary, and then to the minister, and then to the cabinet. So without understanding these administrative issues, we can keep on saying that policy needs to be data based on data and evidence, but it will not happen unless there is capacity within the ministries to analyze the data that is being produced by PBS, and the administrative data, who is in charge at the ministerial or at the departmental level of collecting those administrative records, of digitalizing them, of tabulating them, because these are all gray issues, and I felt that I would not go back satisfied if I didn't point it out, because this is a missing link in all the discussion that we were having. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alia. Thank you very much. Very pertinent questions. And just for your information, we have just completed the gap analysis of statistical system in Pakistan. Unfortunately, Dr. Loai came up with some key points, suggestions to be integrated into that report. That's why we didn't, launch in this symposium. Otherwise, the report is ready, and inshallah, you will see. So please, if you can come forward, all of you, and celebrate this along with us.